Hello students, welcome in my class. Today we are going to discuss a new chapter, that is electromagnetic waves. This chapter will be very important for CBSE exam as well as competitive examination purpose. So we will discuss this topic in very detail and a very joyful manner. Electromagnetic waves, class number 1. This is the basic diagram of propagation of electromagnetic waves. As the name suggests, electromagnetic, it means in electromagnetic waves there is role of electric field as well as magnetic field. From beginning of class 12th we have discussed so many chapters. In first chapter, second chapter we have discussed electrostatics. Electrostatics means charges at rest. And whenever charges are in motion, they produce electric current, and therefore we have discussed chapter number 3, that is known as electric current. In chapter 4, Oersted mainly suggested that whenever electric current passes through a conductor, it produces magnetic field around that. It means current produces magnetic field, or we can say there is some relation between electric current and magnetic field. And after this chapter, or we can say after the concept of Oersted, Faraday suggested that if electric current is producing magnetic field, then why not magnetic field should produce electric current? And then he started a series of experiments, and finally we got Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. It means electricity can be produced by variable magnetic field. It means after discussing these 7 chapters from 1st to 7 in class 12, after discussing these 7 chapters, we are able to know that electricity and magnetism are not separate. Electricity and magnetism are not separate, they are interrelated to each other. And that's why in this chapter we are going to discuss electromagnetic waves. It means there is role of electromagnetic waves in electric field as well as magnetic field, and we will discuss this chapter in very detail. In this chapter I have divided the chapter in different topics. The whole chapter will be completed in 2 classes. In first class, these are the different topics which we are going to discuss. First part is introduction, then we will discuss history of production of electromagnetic waves, then we discuss what are the sources of EM waves, then we will discuss what are the basic characteristics of electromagnetic waves. We will discuss what are the basic characteristics of electromagnetic waves. Then we will discuss very important topic of this class, electromagnetic spectrum. Then we will discuss detection of electromagnetic waves, how electromagnetic waves can be detected, that is detection of electromagnetic waves. Then we will discuss production of electromagnetic waves, how electromagnetic waves can be produced, that topic we will discuss. Now what we are discussing, the first topic, history of production of electromagnetic waves. Initially, electromagnetic waves were produced by Hertz experiment. Firstly, electromagnetic waves were produced by Hertz experiment in 1887. 7 years after Hertz experiment, J.C. Bose of India, working at Kolkata, succeeded in producing and observing electromagnetic waves of much shorter wavelength, that is 25 mm to 5 mm. It means research work have been started related to the electromagnetic waves, and Indian scientists have also played a very vital role in the research related to the electromagnetic waves. At the same time, when this experiment was going on, at the same time Marconi in Italy followed Hertz's work and succeeded in transmitting electromagnetic waves over distances of many kilometers. It means Marconi got success in transmission of electromagnetic waves over distances of many kilometers. It means initially the wavelength is this, but the now electromagnetic waves can be propagated up to many kilometers after Marconi's research. Marconi's experiment marks the beginning of the field of the communication using electromagnetic waves. And I think you all might be aware that today we are living in the era of digital communication. And the whole communication technology, or we can say different type of communication which we are using in a very fast way nowadays, is totally based on electromagnetic waves. It means this chapter or the content of this chapter will be very useful for this type of era in which we are living at present. Now we are going to discuss sources of electromagnetic waves. What are the sources of electromagnetic waves? According to Maxwell's theory, Maxwell gave his very famous theory. According to Maxwell theory, accelerated charge, we have to understand this, accelerated charge radiates electromagnetic waves. Whenever a charge is accelerated, it means its speed increases with time, or accelerated charge, it radiates electromagnetic waves, and which we have discussed in LC oscillations also. An oscillating charge is an example of accelerated charge. Whenever charge is oscillating, it is a very best example of accelerated charge, and according to Maxwell's theory, accelerated charge radiates electromagnetic waves. As in the case of LC oscillations, which we have discussed in previous chapter, LC oscillations, I think you all know very well. LC oscillation we have discussed in very detail. In LC oscillation, electric energy transfer into magnetic energy, and magnetic energy changes into electric energy. It means electromagnetic oscillations takes place. As in the case of LC oscillations, charge oscillates with its natural frequency. The electric charge oscillates with its natural frequency, and it produces an oscillating electric field. Oscillating electric charge produces an oscillating electric field in space, and that oscillating electric field will produce oscillating magnetic field, and which in turn is a source of oscillating electric field, and so on. It means in LC oscillation, oscillating electric field and oscillating magnetic field are interchanging each other, or we can say that is the main source of electromagnetic waves. The oscillating electric and magnetic field thus regenerate each other as the wave propagates through the space. It means LC oscillation is the source of electromagnetic wave, and as we know that during LC oscillations, electric charge oscillates with a frequency f equals to 1 upon 2 pi root LC, or we can say it oscillates with angular frequency omega equals to 1 by root LC. That topic we have already discussed in chapter 7, that is alternating current, in which we have discussed LC oscillations. These LC oscillations are the main source of electromagnetic waves. The frequency of the electromagnetic wave naturally equals to the frequency of the oscillation of the charge. It means if a charge is oscillating with frequency 10 to the power 9 Hz, then it will produce electromagnetic waves of 10 to the power 9 Hz. That is also a very important question in NCERT textbook, that if a charge is oscillating with a particular frequency, what will be the frequency of electromagnetic waves produced by that charge? And answer will be same, because every charged particle oscillates with its natural frequency, and it produces electromagnetic waves of the same frequency. So this is what about the sources of electromagnetic waves. In summarized form, we can say that accelerated charge, that is main question here, accelerated charge is the source of electromagnetic waves. Here we can put or we can solve a very easy question. If a charged particle is at rest or a charged particle is moving with constant velocity, I am using word constant velocity, it means there is no change in direction, there is no change in magnitude. In that case, it cannot produce electromagnetic wave. Only accelerated charge is the source of electromagnetic waves. Now we are discussing characteristics of electromagnetic waves. Here we are going to discuss what are the different characteristics of electromagnetic waves. Characteristics of electromagnetic waves. The electromagnetic waves travel in free space. The first characteristics we can say, electromagnetic waves travel in free space or vacuum with the speed of light. Why we are using word speed of light? Because speed of light and speed of electromagnetic waves both are same, and light is the small constituent of electromagnetic spectrum. And since we are familiar with the speed of light, that's why we are using the word speed of light. Otherwise, all EM waves travel with the speed of 3 lakh km per second, or we can say 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. This is enormous speed, and that is the speed of light also. So all EM waves travel in free space or in vacuum with 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, irrespective of their wavelength or frequency. It means whatever be the frequency, whether it is high frequency EM wave or it is low frequency EM wave, all EM wave will travel with the same speed in vacuum. That is the first characteristics of electromagnetic waves. The electromagnetic waves are neutral. Here is again very important question. The electromagnetic waves are neutral. They are not deflected by electric and magnetic field. Sometimes a question is asked, X-ray is passed through electromagnetic field, or we can say electric field. Then what will be the effect? There will be no effect, because all electromagnetic waves are neutral. Therefore, they move without any deflection through electric field or magnetic field. They cannot be deflected by using electric field or magnetic field. They cannot be deflected by using electric field or magnetic field. The electromagnetic waves shows properties. All EM waves shows the property which are the basic property: reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction and polarization. Reflection and refraction we know from class 10th, but interference, diffraction and polarization, these topics are new for you at this time, because all these three topics have been covered in our second book, class 12 second book, chapter wave optics. So we will discuss these topics in very detail at later time, but here we have to understand or remember only that electromagnetic waves shows reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction and polarization. The ratio of magnitudes of electric field and magnetic field vector in the free space is constant, equal to the speed of electromagnetic waves. Just after some time we will write electric field and magnetic field with time, or we can say time varying electric field and magnetic field are represented by sinusoidal functions. How they are represented? I am showing you. E equals to E naught sine omega t minus kz, or B equals to B naught sine omega t minus kz. We will write these equations separately. Then when we will write E equals to E naught sine omega t, Then E naught will be the magnitude. I think from class 11th you know very well that whenever we write a simple harmonic function, for example y equals to a sine omega t, then a is the amplitude. In the similar manner, whenever we write time varying electric field and magnetic field, then equations can be written as E equals to E naught sine omega t, where E naught is the magnitude of electric field. So here what we can write, the ratio of magnitude of electric field and magnetic field is the speed of light, or we can say C equals to E naught by V naught. That formula we will discuss later on. Characteristics of electromagnetic waves is continued here. We have discussed 4 characteristics. Now we are discussing the next characteristics of electromagnetic waves. The speed of electromagnetic waves in material medium is given by V equals to 1 by square root of mu m epsilon m, where mu m is known as magnetic permeability of medium. Epsilon m is known as electrical permittivity of medium. It means in medium the speed will be different and in vacuum speed will be different. When we write this formula for vacuum, what will be the changes? Only the changes there, V will be replaced by C, that generally we are using as a constant having value 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. C equals to 1 by square root of mu naught epsilon naught. Instead of using mu m or epsilon m, we will use mu naught epsilon naught, where mu naught is the electrical permittivity of free space or vacuum and mu naught is the magnetic permeability of free space or vacuum, and epsilon naught is the electrical permittivity of free space or vacuum. And we know the value in vacuum. Mu naught is having value 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere, that you know very well, and epsilon naught is having value 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12. If we put these values and solve, we will get 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. That is the speed in vacuum. Therefore, as a summary, in vacuum we use C equals to 1 upon root mu naught epsilon naught, and in medium we use 1 upon root mu m epsilon. In an electromagnetic waves, the energy is propagated by means of electric and magnetic field vectors that I have already discussed in the direction of propagation of wave, and electric energy density is equal to the magnetic energy density. In any electromagnetic waves, magnetic energy density and electric energy density both are having same value. Average electric energy density and average magnetic energy density will be equal. Although at different times electric energy convert into magnetic or magnetic converts into electric, but on an average electric energy is equal to the average magnetic energy density, and that is a very important derivation that we will discuss in the next slides. They are transverse in nature. That is again a very important question. In electromagnetic waves, we will just discuss how electromagnetic waves propagates. In electromagnetic waves, electric field vector and magnetic field vector are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave. They are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave. Again I am repeating, that is very important topic. In electromagnetic waves, direction of electric field and direction of magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, as well as they are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave. Hence EM waves are transverse waves, while sound waves are not transverse waves. Sound waves are longitudinal waves, but electromagnetic waves are transverse waves. Direction of electromagnetic wave, that topic just I have discussed, but again I am repeating. direction of electromagnetic waves is perpendicular to the plane in which there is electric field and magnetic field. It means direction of electromagnetic waves will be always perpendicular to the direction in which electric field and magnetic field vector are present. Or mathematically we can say the direction of propagation is given by the cross product of E and B. That topic we will also discuss. E cross B. Direction of electric field is given by E cross B. For example, if electric field is along x-axis, magnetic field is along y-axis, then E cross B, if we calculate, then E cross B will be along the z direction, and that will be the direction of electric field. It means whenever we have to find the direction of electric field, the best way or the simple way is to find the cross product of electric field vector and magnetic field vector. We will be able to know the direction of electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic spectrum. Now we are discussing the topic electromagnetic spectrum. I think you all might be aware about the word spectrum. In class 10th we have already discussed visible spectrum. That spectrum, visible spectrum, is the small part of electromagnetic spectrum. I think you all know the word VIBGYOR, violet, indigo, blue, yellow, orange, red, that we know very well. VIBGYOR is written in a particular order, that is visible spectrum. And now we are going to discuss electromagnetic spectrum. So what is meant by spectrum here? I am discussing the orderly arrangement. The main word is this: the orderly arrangement of all EM waves as per ascending or descending order of their frequency or wavelength is defined as electromagnetic spectrum. Orderly arrangement, it means we have to arrange all EM waves in a systematic orderly arrangement. That arrangement may be in the form of ascending frequency or descending frequency or ascending wavelength or descending wavelength, but it should be orderly arrangement. It means we are increasing the wavelength or we are decreasing the wavelength, or we can use the frequency word also, because frequency and wavelength both are reciprocal of each other. So therefore the orderly arrangement of all EM waves as per ascending or descending order of their frequency or wavelength is known as electromagnetic spectrum. Now you have to remember this order very carefully, because this order can give us only 1 mark. This unit electromagnetic spectrum carry 4 marks as per CBSE pattern, and out of this 4 marks generally a question is asked that is related to the order, and in this order we have to learn only the name of these 7 electromagnetic waves in a perfect order, and then definitely you can solve question related to the order. So what are the electromagnetic waves in systematic order we are observing here? As per decreasing order, I am writing as per decreasing order of wavelength. It means it will be increasing order of frequency. Here we are writing decreasing order of wavelength. It means it will be increasing order of the frequency. What are these? First, radio waves. Second, microwaves. I will discuss all these rays. Infrared, light, or we can say visible light, ultraviolet rays, X-rays, and gamma rays. This is the sequence, or this is the systematic order. And what is that systematic order? Decreasing order of wavelength. It means if I ask here a very important question, you can give the answer I think very easily. Which wave is having highest wavelength? So since we have arranged them as per decreasing order, so definitely you can identify radio waves are having highest wavelength in all EM waves. Which wave is having shortest wavelength? That is gamma ray. It means gamma ray are having very short wavelength. Now we can ask the question related to frequency. Which wave is having very less frequency, or we can say least frequency? The answer will be obviously radio waves. And which wave is having highest frequency? The answer will be gamma rays. I think all EM waves you don't know very well, but the name of radio waves, microwaves, ultraviolet and visible light are familiar to us, but here we will also discuss gamma rays and X-rays. So these are the 7 electromagnetic waves arranged in ascending order of frequency or descending order of wavelength. Ascending order of frequency, it means radio waves having very less frequency, very least frequency, and gamma rays will have highest frequency among these 7 type of electromagnetic waves. So this is what about electromagnetic spectrum. Now you can see this electromagnetic spectrum by this slide so that we can remember this very easily. The electromagnetic spectrum, and this name has been arranged just as increasing order of frequency. This is slightly visualization so that we can easily understand. These are the radio waves, and here is a symbol of radio or transistor. It means radio waves are mainly used for communication purpose. The communication which we are using nowadays is mainly based on radio waves. So radio waves are having the highest wavelength, or we can say less frequency. Frequency is very small, but wavelength is very high in comparison to all other EM waves. These are the microwaves. After radio waves, the increasing frequency will be microwaves. This is the symbol of microwave oven. It means microwaves are used in microwave ovens, that we will discuss in very detail in the later slides. Infrared radiations. Infrared radiations that are mainly used in remotes. In the remotes we are using infrared radiations. This is visible light, the light which causes sensation of sight. By using visible light we are able to see the whole world. Visible light causes the sensation of sight, and they are having wavelength in the order of 10 to the power -7. I think you all know the wavelength order of visible light. For your information, I am saying 4000 angstrom. The wavelength of visible light varies from 4000 angstrom to 7500 angstrom. 4000 is for violet color and 7500 for red color. It means violet, indigo, they are also arranged as per increasing order of their wavelength. Now ultraviolet rays which are emitted by the sun, they may be very harmful for us, but nature has provided a very thick layer of ozone that protect us from the harmful effect of ultraviolet radiations. X-rays are having very important role that we will discuss in later slides. X-rays are widely used in the medical diagnostic purpose. And finally, gamma rays, they may be very harmful for us, and they are mainly produced during nuclear reactions. So this is the brief introduction of different parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, starting from radio waves to the microwaves. Now we have to discuss the wavelength range of electromagnetic waves, or we can say different waves is having different wavelength, and we have to remember them easily. Radio waves. Radio waves are having wavelength greater than 0.1 meter. It means their wavelength may be of the order of meter or even kilometer also, because they are having highest wavelength. Now microwaves, the wavelength of microwaves will be less than the radio waves. It is from 0.1 meter to 1 millimeter. It means the wavelength is decreasing. As we are moving radio to microwave, the wavelength is decreasing and frequency is increasing. For infrared rays, the wavelength is from 1 millimeter to 700 nanometer. 1 millimeter to 700 nanometer. or that we can also say 7000 angstrom. Infrared, and now it is light, or we can say visible light. Visible light is having wavelength 700 nanometer to 400 nanometer. It means the wavelength of visible light is less than the infrared. Ultraviolet light, it is having wavelength 400 nanometer to 1 nanometer. 400 nanometer to 1 nanometer, it means wavelength is decreasing. X-rays, X-rays are having wavelength of the order of 1 nanometer to 0.01 nanometer, or we can also say angstrom. Here we are entering in the wavelength range angstrom. And finally, gamma rays, they are having wavelength less than 0.001 nanometer, or we can say 0.01 angstrom. This is the wavelength range of electromagnetic spectrum. And if we talk about frequency, we can say gamma ray will have highest frequency, X-ray will have less frequency in comparison to gamma ray, ultraviolet again less in comparison to X-ray, and so on. Now we can interestingly remember these three parts here. Light wave means visible light. Infrared rays are having frequency less than the visible. Infrared rays are having frequency less than visible. That's why infrared, because if we arrange the visible light here, visible light itself consists of 7 parts, or we can say 7 color. Since we are moving from higher wavelength to the lower wavelength, therefore if we write VBGOR here, then just after infrared we have to write red, and finally it ends with the violet. This is the wavelength range of violet, and this is the wavelength range of red. So frequency less than red, that is known as infrared. If we talk about frequency, then frequency of infrared is less than light, that's why it is known as infrared. And the highest frequency of visible light is for violet color, and those waves which are having frequency greater than violet, they are known as ultraviolet. So here ultra means more, infra means less. Red color, frequency less than red color, that is known as infrared, and frequency more than violet, that is known as ultraviolet. So this is what about the wavelength range and frequency range of different electromagnetic waves. Now we are discussing propagation of electromagnetic waves, how electromagnetic waves propagates in space. This we can understand by this very important example. Here is arrangement for production of electromagnetic waves. We can say these are the two plates of a capacitor. It means here we have used LC oscillator. LC oscillator, here charge is oscillating, and oscillating charge produced electromagnetic waves. Now by using this 3D diagram, we can very easily understand magnetic field, electric field and direction of propagation. All are perpendicular to each other. You can see from this diagram. Electric field is vibrating along y-axis. We can say electric field is vibrating along this vertical axis, that is represented by this. This is electric field vector. These are the vibrations of electric field vector. Electric field vibrate like this. This is the vibration of electric field, and electric field is vibrating in this plane. The wave is moving like this. The wave is propagating like this. The wave is propagating along this axis, and finally we can see magnetic field. The magnetic field is vibrating like this. You can see this diagram very clearly. Magnetic field is vibrating like this. It means after observing this diagram, you can easily understand that magnetic field is vibrating perpendicular to electric field. Electric field and magnetic field both are perpendicular to each other, and they are also perpendicular to the direction of propagation of EM waves. Hence EM waves are transverse in nature. That is the basic logic why EM waves are transverse, because the vibration of electric field vector and magnetic field vector are perpendicular to each other, and they are also perpendicular to the direction of propagation of EM waves. Hence, electromagnetic waves are transverse waves in nature. That is a very important question. Now we are discussing production of electromagnetic waves, how electromagnetic waves can be produced. Although we know that electromagnetic waves can be produced by accelerated charge particle, or we can say time varying electric field and magnetic field can produce electromagnetic waves. But here in this slide I am going to discuss how different type of electromagnetic waves can be produced. It means here we are discussing the particular electromagnetic waves can be produced by which particular method. So first we are discussing radio waves. Radio waves are mainly produced by rapid acceleration and deceleration of electrons in aerials. These aerials are used in the communication, widely used in the communication. Then rapid acceleration and deceleration of electrons in aerials is the main source of radio waves. It means radio waves can be produced by the rapid acceleration and deceleration of electromagnetic electrons in aerials. And the main concept is same here. This is the accelerated charge particle. Electron is a charge particle, and here we are using acceleration and deceleration of electrons. So this is the basic production of radio waves. Microwaves. Microwaves can be produced by two special type of valves. One is known as klystron valve and other is known as magnetron valve. And this is again a very important question. How microwaves can be produced? The answer will be by using klystron valve or magnetron valve. The further detail or discussion is beyond our syllabus. Therefore, we will confine ourselves within the syllabus as prescribed. Therefore, we will not discuss in very detail klystron valve and magnetron valve. Infrared. Infrared rays are mainly produced by vibrations of atoms and molecules. Whenever atoms and molecules vibrates, they will produce infrared radiations. And we know that vibrations of atoms and molecules is due to heat. It means hot bodies emits infrared radiations, or we can say hot bodies are the sources of infrared radiations. Therefore, infrared radiations are also known as heat waves. Light. Electrons in atoms emit light when they move from one energy level to a lower energy level. It means transition of electron from one energy level to other energy level emits light or visible light. Ultraviolet. Inner cell electrons in atom moving from higher energy level to lower energy level will produce ultraviolet rays. Inner cell electrons in atoms moving from higher energy level to a lower energy level will result in the production of ultraviolet rays. X-rays and gamma rays. X-ray are produced by X-ray tubes, or we can say transition of inner cell electrons. They are mainly produced by X-ray tubes or inner cell electrons. Gamma rays, they are mainly produced by the radioactive decay of the nucleus. It means we can say gamma rays are mainly produced during the radioactive decay of the nucleus, or we can say nuclear reaction. Now, detection of electromagnetic waves. We have discussed characteristics of electromagnetic waves, sources of electromagnetic waves, production of electromagnetic waves. Now we are going to discuss how we can detect electromagnetic waves, that is detection of electromagnetic waves. So here again we will discuss all these EM waves one by one. Radio waves. Radio waves can be detected by receivers aerials. Microwaves. They can be detected by point contact diodes. Point contact diodes are mainly used for the detection of microwaves. Infrared. Infrared rays can be detected by a number of devices: thermopiles, bolometer, infrared photographic film. Here the main concept is of heating. Thermopiles, bolometers and infrared photographic films are used for the detection of infrared views. Light. The eye, photocell or photographic film. Human eye is very sensitive for visible light. Ultraviolet rays. They can be detected by photocells and photographic film. X-rays. X-rays can be detected by photographic film or Geiger tubes ionization chamber. And the same is used for gamma rays. Gamma rays can also be detected by photographic film, Geiger tubes or ionization chamber. So this is what about the detection of electromagnetic waves. Thank you.